Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 619 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Takamaldo, and I am joined today by the people you would expect, Chris Devona.
Hey.
And Rob Roseboom.
I'm expected.
You are expected. at least until we can all go outside again.
I'm never a surprise. I'm always expected.
Wait, you guys are in Michigan though, right? Where aren't you being encouraged to go outside and like introduce yourself to the oldest person you can find?
By certain members of the public, sure.
Okay. Go lick their eyeballs.
Yeah,
eyeball licking's all good in Michigan.
That's right. It's actually recommended.
It's the new state motto. You know how
come to Michigan.
You know,
if you seek a beautiful eyeball to lick, look around you.
The Upper Peninsula really is about the upper pupa, or whatever it's called.
Turned out eyeball licking stuck a lot better than pure Michigan.
Yeah,
pure Michigan.
That's
right. Like there's all kinds of great state mottos that could just be replaced with something horrible for COVID.
We should make a list.
Yeah, that'll work for me. All right, well let's get a few of these thrilling news items out of the way. Henry Cavill is rumored now to be getting to be the new Highlander.
The quickening. Right.
There can be only Henry.
Yeah.
Are you cruising for a piece of rice?
I want to know what accent he's gonna take.
Oh no! The thing is, I absolutely love Highlander in almost all of its forms except for the second movie. The entire show. I once hosted on my internet machine the Jim Burns fan club for a bunch of like super Highlander fans. Jim Burns was the Watcher guy in the series. I love the series. I love the whole thing. And they have Gregory Wyden attached, so they've got all the right people attached to the project. And Henry Cavill, who I used to be really down on because Superman sucked. I think he's terrific. He kind of can't do any wrong. So,
dude, I think that after I saw The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Henry Cavill basically became like my favorite male lead on Earth. Like he's so great in that.
Yeah, and like The Witcher. Oh my goodness. He just sends it in The Witcher. He does the work.
He's the perfect example of, I was thinking about this recently with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise knows to only ever be now in the Tom Cruise type movie. He almost never does like a Tropic Thunder or like a Vanilla Sky, like the stuff outside of the Mission Impossible franchisey action things. He knows his deal. And right now I feel like Henry Cavill kind of has got that too. He's reading the right scripts. He's not casting himself in anything weird, and he's awesome for it.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got more range than Tom Cruise, and he's not a cannibal. And I just think he's got a very
dude. Armie Hammer has nothing to do with Tom Cruise.
Well, no, it's just he was a handsome guy. He had a lot of really good opportunities. You're like, hey, this guy could do really well. Oops, cannibal. It's like what's the thing that's going to trip up somebody on their ascent? And it's like, cannibal.
When you spin the dial on the screw up wheel,
cannibal
hardly ever shows up, right?
Yeah.
Imagine how thin that slice is for cannibal.
It's like on the Price is Right wheel. That's just like there's only one segment for cannibal. Everything else is normal stuff like making inappropriate references to Nazis, comparing masks to the Holocaust, things like that.
Exactly.
There's like 30 wedges for that on the Price is Right
and like
wheel.
His big error was he used the wrong cable for 4 seconds during his PC build video. Ooh. It's like wow, this guy can go on forever. He's going to be doing well for a long time. So
I hope so. Did you guys watch the Eternals trailer?
I did.
Boy, I sure did, and I have to tell you something. I don't remember a single. No, that's not true. It was really dull. That's
it really
all
was.
Well,
it was like super dull.
I mean, before this, were you a big fan of the Eternals in the Marvel comics?
No, of course.
I have a copy of the.
I don't know nothing about it. Right?
I have a copy of the trade paperback sitting on the shelf behind me. I have read the first 10 pages, and then I was bored.
It's there's a reason a lot of you haven't heard of it. It's because, come on.
Well, here's my problem with the trailer, at least, is that and I don't envy the marketing for this, because the marketing for this has to basically lean on the fact that you have like 5 of the most famous actors on Earth now in this thing.
Yeah.
But nobody's heard of the characters, and they chose to make basically the entire trailer a setup for like the epic scope. It's not about any of these people. It's not about any of these actors. It's about the scope of their mojo. And it's boring.
And
it's like Cloud. I felt the same way about the Eternals as I felt about the Cloud Atlas trailer. Like, they wanted to say, we're going to tell you the most epic shit ever. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't care.
And the bitch of it is they already did the Inhumans, right? Which is this exact story, except, instead of like parallel development with people who, we would help occasionally, the Eternals are basically the gods, right? Who at some point decided, whoa, let's not be gods anymore. And now they decide to be gods again. Yeah. The stories are so close to the humans, and look how well that did for the same reasons, it just.
Now, if Lockjaw shows up in this, I'm all in.
I like Lockjaw.
I know he can come and eat. He can come and eat some of these people.
Yeah, I mean, now having said that, maybe they'll have a really awesome story. Maybe it'll be interesting. But as far as I'm concerned, they should have just started from a clean slate because.
I'll be there, as soon as I possibly can. I got no problems with watching any kind of movie.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna be.
But yeah, I'm not. My problem. So Guardians of the Galaxy is the closest parallel in the Marvel universe, right? It's basically a cast of unknowns, and
but they were wacky.
But that's the
wacky
thing.
About the
Eternals. Characters were lovable and charming and weird and fun.
Yeah.
We got one bit at the end, and it wasn't about them. It was about the fact that they know who the Avengers are. Like, that's the only thing, the only humanizing moment, I guess, for these gods. The only humanizing moment for these gods was them talking about other people who we like. That's hard. Now, it's a teaser trailer. Maybe 2 trailers down, we're going to get the one where we realize that 4 of these characters are actually fun and interesting.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But the problem is look at how big that cast is.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And look at how short that one redheaded person is.
I think that might be a child.
Is it a child?
Yeah. It's an eternal child, which I'm sure is going to make the de-aging techniques really hard for the sequel.
Oof. It's going to be so tiresome for that poor actor. And they have Paperboy from Atlanta, who I love.
Yeah.
It's just like...
That's what I'm saying. Every single person...
He looks so uncomfortable.
Every single person in this movie is like a big deal.
I mean, Gemma Chan, I'd watch her open a mall, but I mean, this looks terrible.
Did you watch that movie where she was a robot girl?
I watched the first couple episodes of it.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't keep
I watched the whole thing. It's rough.
Was it all rough?
It's rough.
And it's got the gal from the IT Crowd. It's got great actors in it. And she's perfect as an inhumanly beautiful robot,
right?
But like, wow, yeah,
she was really good in Crazy Rich Asians too. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, she's good in everything she does. There's some people. So let's compare her to Henry Cavill, right? Henry Cavill is a very good looking fella, right? But as an actor who's asked to carry a bunch of movies, he has to actually put the work in. I have to tell you, she doesn't. She's too pretty, right? So literally, she could be in the dumb robot show, and it's not just Small Wonder, it's the dumb robot show, but it had Gemma Chan in it.
It did.
So, yeah.
So Amazon is.
Wait, we're not done. Who's the guy on the far right in the picture? I know who.
Isn't that the kid for the Flash?
Is that the Flash?
But I thought he was canceled now too, but maybe he's not. I can't keep track.
No. That's the DC Flash.
No, the DC Flash wasn't canceled. It was
because he drop kicked someone at a party.
That wasn't the DC. No, I thought that is the DCU Flash. The kid from I don't even know. I gotta look up who he is now.
Yeah, the DC Flash was problematic.
Yeah. Ezra Miller. I thought that was Ezra Miller.
That's not Ezra Miller. This is Marvel. You can't cross the streams, Rob.
You can't? Yeah, that is Ezra Miller, right?
No.
Well, you might be able to, since he's not the Flash anymore, right?
No, I think he's still the Flash. I think.
He's not on the list of cast, so he must be somebody else that just looks too much like him for me.
No, he must be here. He's one of these people. It's just there's so many of them. You don't care, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm in the IMDb thing too, you know?
He looks like him. All right, MGM, Amazon might be buying MGM. Right. I thought that was interesting. The one thing, like, I don't care in particular, like, it's a $5 or $6 billion deal, which, first of all, kind of seems crazy to me. That
crazy low or crazy big?
Well, crazy low because, like, that's Disney. That was like Star Wars or Marvel. They were both in the $5 billion range. But, like, MGM is like all of James Bond and stuff. But the thing that I thought was interesting is that they were saying that one of the holdups on the deal is that the producers, the Broccoli's, the producers of James Bond,
they have a lot of control.
They have like total huge control over the Bond franchise, and so they are essentially, they basically have, like, they have the right to scuttle this deal because they're so powerful. Because they can, like, the thing that I was hearing was that it was about theater control. Like, they have contractual guarantees that Bond movies will run in theaters. And if Amazon doesn't want to do that, like that makes the Bond property less valuable as part of this $5 billion deal.
Yeah, no. So, you know, Lucasfilm was $4 billion, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of this is about Bond, you know. And Amazon, you know, they've gotten their feet wet with terrible adaptations of Tom Clancy books, and one good one. But, like, yeah, the Broccoli's do not screw around. I have to tell you, do not screw around at all. Don't always put out great movies, but they absolutely they make the Tolkiens look like amateurs, frankly.
I think the Tolkiens don't really have any control anymore, though. So,
but they used to. I mean, you know, the way they used to be. So, yeah,
that's a weird one. Hey, Rob, you want to tell us about snail slime soap?
It's good for your skin. But it smells weird.
Well, that doesn't bother me.
That's so many things. You know, soap is kind of a weird concept.
It is.
Know, if you look it up, what it's made of. You know. So
I watched Fight Club.
And not particularly good for skin.
Right.
Most harsh soaps. So add a little snail slime and you're good to go.
I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to load that story, and it's the entire story is blocked by my ad blocker. Cool.
The monkey
or
the
snail slime?
The snail slime.
The snail slime. Here.
It's literally about a guy who runs a snail farm, and he tickles snail bellies all day to collect slime.
Rubbing their bellies.
They're not cute. This isn't like a kitten.
I also want to know what music he listens to while he tickles the snail bellies. It makes the whole process different.
Right? Tickle the dummies.
I wonder if he's a sex offender. No, sorry, that's
dude. You're gonna Elon Musk this guy?
No, I'm asking. Okay, I'm gonna French this guy. So so the thing about snails in France, this is obviously somebody who you used to or currently raises snails for consumption, right? Which means no,
he's not eating them. These are too lucrative to eat.
This guy was a computer technician in the Air Force who retired and decided he wanted to tickle snail bellies and collect the poop to make soap. Literally, that's what he set out to do.
You know, honestly, I gotta take back anything mean I've said about this person.
He might be the greatest human ever.
I mean, you know, if that's the dream, I mean,
right?
Good for them. You know,
when he spun the wheel on what dream I'll have for retirement.
I mean, he's probably happier than I am right now. I mean, with my allergies and everything.
The wedge for extracting snail slime has to be so little.
Yep. Thank God I landed on snail slime and not cannibal.
Right. Yeah, no one's gonna fire you for being the snail slime guy. It's like, it's like being the ambergris guy. Like, I found some ambergris. It's like, it's a little gross, but you know, I get it.
They
you
may
live in the dream.
They may not want to shake your hand, but they'll respect you.
What if I have extra slime on my hand?
Yeah, you pay for that. That's like shaking that guy's hand is like a moisturizer.
Yeah, you know, I bet you, there's a woman out there for this man, or a man out there for this man, a perfect partner who's just like, wow, that's really interesting.
She raises clams.
Well, no. What if he
commercial oyster harvester?
What if he only likes the tickling, not the collection process? And somewhere out there's someone who only likes collecting slime in a bucket.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh, this is fantastic.
Well, so one of the things with snails, and actually with clams and other live filter feeders, you feed them a different medium to clean them out, right? So like, I wonder what the diet is. I mean, they have a piece of lettuce, but like, for snails that you're going to consume, they often gravage them on garlic and those sorts of things. And basically the garlic goes through their system, kind of cleans it out so that you can eat them, and it's the same thing with clams. You put in like a little bit of salty water, so it cleans out, any gross water that might be inside them. And then, then you cook them. Right. So it's like, I wonder if like the slime, this person has become the world's authority on slime quality and diet and nutrition for snails. I mean, I would love to see their papers. I bet you they give a hell of a lightning talk, like a TED talk.
Yeah, he can.
I would totally watch that.
He can grade a thimble of slime just by smell at this point.
Right? I mean, is there anything more French than that? Right. With their history with colognes and perfumes and the rest. It's like, they have all these weird additives, and they're like, and then there's the slime guy. You're not going to go to some random slime provider.
Oh,
You're going to go to.
No, it's only called champagne if the slime is grown in the Champagne region of France.
This is the champagne of snail slime.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, we've got the Florida monkey colony.
Yeah, I didn't know about this.
I'd never heard of this.
This is a classic Roseboom story.
Oh, yeah.
So
basically what happened was, if you've ever seen the movie Outbreak, that happened. And they didn't collect all the monkeys. And they weren't carrying the plague, luckily.
Oops.
But what happened is a bunch of them, they caught most of them, but they didn't catch all, obviously. They dispersed in the mangroves. And they've been living there now for, I think, like 70 years or something. And anyway, they've reproduced. The locals kind of are very protective of them because they've started to show up in large numbers there, and it just so happens to be next to airport, so I'm sure nothing bad would ever come of that.
Can you imagine a monkey strike on an engine?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd pay money to see that.
Oh, you wouldn't. It'd be so gross.
So while, Planet of the Apes, the original, makes you believe that, the main settlement's New York, the remake goes to San Francisco, the actual Planet of the Apes will probably start somewhere in the Keys in Florida.
Well, that we knew.
Okay, I have to take umbrage with some of your characterizations. You said this was a hot zone thing. And it wasn't. It was just a farm, right, where they were raising them for experimentation,
for military. But
it wasn't like. Listen, I grew up in Reston. Let's be clear, right? And when they had to burn down the lab after they had the escape of the Ebola monkeys, and they shut down the whole town, we all had to leave school. That was a hot zone situation. Right. This is the escape monkey situation.
The movie is Outbreak, and I said it was like Outbreak, except they didn't have the plague, which is exactly what happened.
No, they didn't come out of a bunch of.
Are you guys going to be friends?
Plague introduced. Anyway, of course we're going to be
friends. Yes, I know. That's what I said. There was no
plague.
Who
else can I argue with about the details of the Ebola monkey outbreak in the 80s? Rob, I mean, come on. Adults are talking. So, Roseman.
I actually think I might dispute that too.
I mean, I would have taken the criticism that monkeys are not apes, so the comparison to Planet of the Apes isn't a good one.
Oh, it's on.
Okay.
But the provenance of the monkeys, I'll fight you on.
Monkey provenance. That's a good title for the episode.
It's also mentioned that it's in urban South Florida. Which tells me it's it's not near the Everglades.
No,
because it's more Miami.
It's in the mangroves.
Oh, in the mangroves. Well, okay, all right, I'll give you that. But But yeah. Anyways, important story.
Critical.
Thank you for sharing it. No, this
Well, I want to know
perfect Geeks in Space material.
I want to know what happens when we take the monkeys that are like breeding in Florida and have them fight the Colombian hippos.
Oh yeah.
Like let's just get
they
all
would
of the
certainly lose.
let's get all the weird transplanted species to fight.
Yeah.
We would definitely need to give the monkeys like little boats or
Guns.
really good
Little
pieces
fezzes.
of armor.
We should arm the monkeys. That's gonna work out great.
Maybe we put dynamite on them with kill switches. That'd be the best way to take out the hippos.
We just grease them up and tie razor blades to their hands.
Yeah. Cuts the monkey, come to life.
That's right. It's finally going to happen. Chris, did you watch this entire Flight of the Navigator thing?
It was great.
It's fantastic.
It was so great. I loved. I mean, honestly, Dr. Disillusion, I like just generally.
I did not. Okay, so I just want to say I've never watched him before. I've seen his thumbnail, but like he always looked like an idiot, so I never bothered clicking through. Yeah, but like last night I watched like 8 of his videos. He's really good.
He's an earnest, genuine, extremely well-researched, remarkable nerd.
Yep.
You know, and that documentary was fantastic. I mean, I learned so much about the early state of special effects. And you remember how we were obsessing on the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is so satisfying.
I never would have guessed how they did it.
Oh, yeah.
I assumed that those were animated, like hand-drawn and painted.
Yeah.
But
no.
They made resin sculptures of every frame. That's crazy.
Amazing.
You can basically skip the first 10 minutes because the first 10 minutes are basically, I like this movie a lot. And then he goes in and like shot by shot breaks every single thing down and talks about how each of the models that they built and where the mount point was on the models, so you can figure out which model was used in which shot, so you can figure out which ones were forced perspective. But the one that killed me was the shot of the ship coming out of the hangar. And how they did it all in camera. Like, it's a forced perspective shot with mirrors. It's insane. It's genius.
It's really cool. It's just, totally worth the time. It's like 45 minutes. But
yes, but you can skip the first 10.
I wouldn't skip the first 10.
Well, that gives you his joy.
I think that's when he... I mean, I think it's worth watching the whole thing. And I say this as somebody who has no time at all.
Well, I have a lot of spare time. I went and watched 8 of his videos last night. But this is his best thing by far, that I saw at least.
So he did a smaller treatment of Back to the Future 2 and 3.
I watched both of those last night too.
And they're okay.
Yeah.
I would have loved a longer one.
Yeah.
I know that we've done this with Back to the Future like a million times though. Yeah. So it's like...
well, the thing I guess that I didn't know that he was explaining with the Back to the Future thing is how Back to the Future 2 and 3 specifically are on the bridge between the optical compositing and the digital compositing era. Yeah. 2 is optically composited and 3 is digitally composited, or at least some of the shots. I thought that was really cool. Very worth the watch. I watched the skyscraper wobble, and I was
didn't seem that wobbly.
It didn't seem that wobbly.
I think it's one of those things where when you have a 1,000-foot high skyscraper,
maybe it looks bigger than on YouTube.
Yeah. So the reason why I cared about this is I've been in that building like half of the So this is in Mahjong Bay in Shenzhen, which is where all the little, electronics tables are.
Right. The equivalent of Akihabara. In
well,
Tokyo?
It's like Akihabara if it was on steroids. Like it's crazy. It's like 10 stories, right, with the escalators attaching them, and lifts too. And every floor has a thing. Like the first floor will be LED bulbs, unusual lights, that sort of thing. They'll have like a wiring floor.
Diodes are on the 14th floor.
They have like a PC floor, of course, and then they have like just a displays floor. And then they'll have a tablets floor or something, and it's like, tablets and phones and phone cases. And in the corners of like the phone level are the people who you go to, you say, phone display broken. And they go, they hand it back to you all fixed.
Do you pay extra for the sound effects?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Yeah, if you hang around and watch them, it's an extra like 10 RMB.
I'm always willing to pay 10% extra for live Foley.
It's honestly, it's an incredible place to visit. But I'm just picturing, because like it's chaotic on a good day. Like if suddenly everyone decided that the building's coming down, I'm just like, oh my God. Like the people like trying to secure their junk before leaving. And you have to realize the entire floor is basically papered with receipts and like the little, paper tracking system that they use for shipping. It literally, like, you can slide across any floor you want just because you want to. And I'm just picturing like the chaos of people trying to get out. It'd be incredible. So anyways, yeah. And like, it's funny because like also this is like really good B-roll for like a Godzilla movie.
That's true.
It's like, no, so
I would
but
watch
that's not
that
the
Godzilla
building.
movie.
The white one's not the building.
No, it's the one to the right.
It's that one.
Yeah.
So. And there were no earthquakes reported. It was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was a weird one. I was am I right in saying that that you can't keep grandfather clocks like with pendulums at the top of most tall buildings? I seem to remember hearing that, like, because the pendulum gets thrown out of whack, and so like that's just a thing.
I'll Google it.
There you go.
Grandfather clocks. Up sky.
I seem to remember, like, I don't know if it was like the Empire State Building, but I don't think people live in the Empire State Building, right? But it was some skyscraper documentary that I seem to recall them talking about that. I've been in tall buildings where I can feel them moving. And it is, I actually did a job interview in one once, and I felt so horrible because I'm like sitting in this fancy building talking to fancy people, and I am nauseous because I can feel this building moving. Like, how can you live? How can you work in this environment? I did not get that job.
Yeah, I find that horrifying.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have about really big skyscrapers is they're really inefficient. Their floor plates get really, really small as you get higher, and you spend so much on elevators. You
played a lot of Sim Tower growing up?
Oh, I loved Sim Tower. I've been to the top of a lot of the tall buildings, because it's super fun. Like Taipei 101, we have, Google has an office inside Taipei 101. It's like on the 90th floor or something, and we have like a cafe that overlooks the entire city. And it's incredible, honestly. And it's not just making the attuned mass stamper in the building, but it's high up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's ridiculous to say that, but when you're up there, you're like 1,000 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
That'd be fun. But I am also terrified of heights. Like, what is it? Is it the Sears Tower that has the glass, the glass balcony that you can stand on?
Yeah.
If you ever go to Toronto and take the elevator up the CNN Tower, not only are they crazy freaking fast, but they're glass. Yeah. And there's a certain point where Rob doesn't like what he sees after a certain height.
Yep.
It's not good.
Yep. I'm okay up until the 20th or 30th floor, and then I'm just like, I don't want to look out your window anymore.
And I'm done.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, maybe you should just try a 90th floor situation, because it might be one of those things where from 30 to 60 you're no good.
But once you're above the clouds,
it's like being on an airplane.
Yeah.
No, seriously, you're above the clouds. Like, you look out and you're like, oh, there's no city here. It's just clouds.
That's
it's
true.
like you're on an airplane.
I don't mind airplanes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The last one that we have on the list is the Tiger King is back.
Well, this was the Joe Exotic Park.
In
Colorado or whatever. So
after they moved,
I don't know who these people are. I never watched the show.
What?
I didn't watch it.
You gave them money, but then didn't watch their show?
No, I gave the Carol Baskin like the entry fee, and like I bought a Diet Coke and a postcard.
So $75.
Come on, I didn't know anything. So.
But
he's still emailing me. Just for the record,
you're on her list.
I'm on the mail list.
Tigers need money. They're sniffing around the backyard looking for the bodies. Gonna need to dig a deeper hole. So yeah, the zoo in Colorado, they rescued some tigers from there apparently.
All the tigers, all the cats, because it turns out they were doing a horrible job. They were malnourished, weren't getting the supplements they needed, so they confiscated all of them, and now the last bit of his empire has officially been seized. And Trump didn't pardon him, so
Shocked.
there we go.
Really,
I don't know
how.
how much of a Geeks in Space story it is, other than the Tiger King was our highest rated show ever.
Yep.
So I wanted to see what would happen now.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, the Carol Baskin the episode with the most listens on our podcast has Carol Baskin in the title.
Baskin
So
in
I've
the
always
title,
assumed
yeah.
that Carol Baskin is the key to internet wealth.
Carol Baskin
Yeah.
killed her husband and whacked him. I will say,
Yeah,
the last
well, that and Baskin coin. If you get into Baskin coin,
Baskin coin. So this is a picture of a bobcat called Angel that was hit in Florida on a highway, and Carol Baskin and the team rescued Angel, nursed her back to health, and re-released her into the wild. You know who didn't do that? Joe Exotic or Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, but that thing just immediately went and started eating all the monkeys.
Well, someone's got to eat the monkeys.
Otherwise, they're going to rise up and take control of the airport.
I've seen Planet of the Monkey Apes.
Planet of the Gibbons.
Planet of the Cyber Gibbons. Yeah.
the last thing you want is a 54 strong group of monkeys, harvesting snail slime. It'll ruin the business. It'll crash the industry.
Yeah, but they'll be the cleanest. They'll be the cleanest monkeys ever.
Yeah, they'll be very clean. Oh boy, this is a hell of an episode.
Oh, we're all over the place today. It's fantastic.
My allergies have been kicking my ass.
You sound pretty glorious.
I'm miserable.
Oh.
Have you thought about making Chris slime soap?
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be a fine idea from my my slime ducks here.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Maybe I'll try that.
I'm not paying for that.
Someone will.
That's true. The internet has proven that someone will pay for anything.
Honestly, caffeine's really helpful. I don't know why, but once the caffeine is settled in from my morning jolt here of iced tea, it helps a lot. But I feel like the oldest man on the internet. It's like, well, once you have your morning coffee, you'll be able to get past the troubles of a sleepless night because of the
aches and pains of getting old.
And the thing is, I don't even think I'm all that allergic, right? It's just I'm allergic to tree pollen and I'm allergic to cats. I have a cat, and normally it's all fine until the tree pollen starts. And it's like the two of them, they come together like a wonder twin of pain, and they just come after me.
It's hard to go and live someplace where there are no plants.
Antarctica.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
And I love my cat. I don't want to get rid of my cat. I'm going to keep my cat. But it's like, maybe I should live in the ADU, and spare my wife all my congestion and disgustingness.
Or maybe you can just stop being a whiner.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong, Rob. Let's keep going.
I have a lot of Zyrtec in my life. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I've taken Claritin D, but it makes me so jumpy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That was the last one on the list. Do we have anything else we want to hit?
Y'all watched Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah, Army of the Dead. Yeah.
What'd you think? I'm interested in your thoughts.
So, at one point, 30 minutes in, I think it was around 30 minutes in, where they're doing slow-mo scene of the city being taken over. I thought, this is the funnest zombie movie I've ever seen. This is fantastic.
It is fun.
And then the rest of the movie.
Scene?
Yeah.
The rest of the movie happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is not the most fun zombie movie I've ever seen. The problem is when they go inside this walled city, suddenly they decide, up until now, we've been making a caper movie, right?
Yeah.
We've been making a zombie caper movie. It's fun. It's exciting. And now that we're inside the city, let's try to develop at least 3 characters' backstories and throw in a little piece about the ecology of zombies, which never gets fully explained.
Nothing.
And you're like, what? What? Give me my fun zombie caper movie again.
Yeah.
And they have that throughout there, but unfortunately they try to have those other stories too.
Yeah, they tried to Walking Dead it at the end. They tried to,
like,
really, the Garrett Hedlund guy, not Garrett Hedlund, you know what I'm talking about. It's like,
I felt that the first 30 minutes were some of the most fun that I've ever seen, and the last 30 was some of the most train wreck, Bad.
They really lost the thread.
Well, so here was the thing, and like, if I had the gumption to watch it again, it would be interesting to time this. But they announced spoilers to Magnum and Enblue.
Spoiler alerts.
They announced that they're going to nuke the city, and then they set a clock, a very clear clock. They're like 90 minutes. We're going to nuke the city. And from that moment on, if you are an actual human being in this situation, everything that you do is going to be running as fast as you can to your helicopter to get away from the place that they are going to nuke. Now, we can argue about how far away you have to be from the detonation site to survive, but whatever, you are running. And there is literally like 3 different scenes that are 2+ minutes long where people are talking about their feelings and their relationships while standing still.
Yep.
Or the freaking horrible part where now's the part where Batista will talk to his daughter about what kind of food they'll have in the food truck.
Oh.
Which happens like 3 or 4 times towards the end. And I get what they're trying to do, right? I understand what they're trying to do, but that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. You like, and so they did it. I thought all of the stuff with like the super zombies was stupid. But
the alphas.
Yeah, all the upgrade. I thought that was dumb. But they set up a very clear ticking clock and urgency stakes, and then just let the air out of the balloon, like as slow as they could for like a half hour. I was like, how do you expect me to be excited about your movie? That is bad. That is bad directing.
There's a scene in the second Pee Wee Herman movie, the remake, where he is out with the Amish people, and he has a balloon, and he does that thing where he pulls the end tight, and it makes that horrible screeching noise, and it goes on for like 97 seconds. It happens so long that it makes you uncomfortable, then makes you laugh, then makes you uncomfortable again. And I feel like after they got into Vegas, that's exactly what they did. They're like, here we go.
The thing is, it's like they had so many charming actors. And then at the end, when the daughter person goes to the other hotel a mile away from the current hotel while they have 47 minutes left to get on the helicopter and get to the safe
before the
distance,
nuclear
so
bomb.
that she could search a 1,000-room hotel for her friends while the alphas and their betas or whatever are chasing them around. I'm like, this is dumb. This is not how time works.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing is, I'm okay with like little assumptions, that they were able to wall off the city. There's no way you could have walled off the city.
That's
there would have been zombies all over the desert. They would have been like covered with zombies,
sure.
Right? And also, I think was Roseville. Was it you who's talking about the zoological? Like, if you can infect a tiger, you can infect a squirrel, or like the wild horses
should get out
Nevada's deserts. I mean, there's no containing this. With containers,
you're gonna get a zombie pigeon.
And how the hell are you gonna get all those containers to Vegas before they all get out? Anyway, but I was willing to look past that, right? But it's just like it's a very inconsistent movie, but I did enjoy it, honestly.
Also, for me, if you're gonna go into a city, have piles of dead bodies, and explain that they are basically dehydrated zombies,
they're dehydrated,
that aren't moving now. But when it rains, they all start writhing. You got to have a thunderstorm roll in, right?
Yeah. Let's check out thunderstorm.
I am waiting for 2 hours to see some rehydrated zombies slow their escape.
At least get the forklift and push piles of corpses into the Bellagio fountains.
The Bellagio fountains. Suddenly, someone points them, and all of them go crazy. Like the betrayer guy, he uses the fountains as a weapon. Like, come on, there's so many cool things you could have done with. There were so many cool ideas they did nothing with. So I'm like, all right.
Now,
but I will say that 15-minute credit sequence,
it's awesome,
where Las Vegas is falling, is the best Zack Snyder movie ever filmed.
Yeah,
So.
Yep. There's one scene in particular where a zombie is obliterated by a 50 caliber machine gun, piece by piece. That is fantastic.
It's incredible.
Yep.
While it's still standing, different parts of it are exploding until all that are left are the feet on top of a car. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
Snyder is great with the visual stuff, and he is not good once you're talking. Like, as long as people aren't talking, Snyder is really great. I've said this before lots of times, but every sci-fi, fantasy, fiction movie, whatever, you get one thing. And I'm willing to accept the zombies and the wall. Like, that's your thing.
That's our thing.
That's your thing. But what I can't accept is human beings being stupid in the name of we have to fill a 2.5-hour runtime and we have to step through these 3 action set pieces. That's lazy script writing, and it makes me angry.
Well, also, can we stop with I need the zombie head to do my military research? Really?
Like,
there's plenty of them.
Yeah, that's true. But they wanted the alpha.
This is not rocket science, though. This is not brain surgery. This is...
You are kidding yourself if you think the Army doesn't have 10 of those heads already.
Right?
The very second they figured out what's going on, right?
Listen, at the end of the Cold War, the going price for a Russian nuclear missile was $10 million. Basically. You can get 2 for 11, right? So you're telling me a zombie head, of which there are millions inside Las Vegas.
They needed the alphas, though. There weren't there many of those.
I think there was probably an alpha in every hotel at this point.
Except
Penthouse
presumably all the alphas were from the original one that the Army already created.
Right. They had
the Army already had.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you don't got a vial of blood from or whatever ooze is inside? Probably slime. Probably soap slime.
Although to be snail slime, to be fair, that is only implied, never explicitly stated, because they only imply a ton of stuff about why there are alpha zombies and other zombies, and they never tell you the reason.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, man. Like, if you're gonna make the whole thing be about the zombie culture and like the alphas and the betas and the zombie tigers and all that, cool.
And the zombie security guards, zombie taxation.
That's a fun movie.
And zombie babies.
Yeah, zombie babies, zombie reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're throwing a lot of stuff at us.
For the children.
And also, it went from blue to red when it died. It's like, okay.
No, I'd be all in on either of those movies, but you don't get to have both.
Well, I think you can. The problem is you have to execute. And when they decided that Las Vegas was a space of nonlinear space time, it's like they made too many that's gonna be a little thin, but we're gonna go with it. And it's like, well, maybe you don't go with it this time.
I'm also a huge fan of Tig.
Yeah.
And she was fine in this, but I kind of feel like she's kind of wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that all of her line reads were great. I thought all of her delivery and lines were great, but they
very competent.
Like, and this is the thing is you can't unknow that she was edited in, but by the end, I've like, oh, and now this is clearly edited in, and it just got really frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you see the one scene? It's like, I don't know. It's like midway through the movie where they do a shot with Tig, and it's clearly they deep faked her face over Chris D'Elia's.
There's a couple of them,
and they tried to focus out the rest of the body, but it just like this looks bad. It looks really, really bad. So
yeah. But at least she'll be in the next Star Trek, so we can all watch Star Trek and really be happy that Tig's in it. She is confirmed.
Well, I think that's where we're gonna wrap up.
All right.
I mean, she's fine, as long as they don't make like Q and Picard show up and Star Trek Discovery Future Space.
Let's hope.
I just can't get excited about.
Let's hope the medical hologram shows up and is able to be physically manifested somehow.
Ugh.
Gentlemen,
are they having Robert Picardo come back? Really?
He's one of those people. He's one of those actors that they always like. You see him interviewed, like how you always see Beverly D'Angelo. Anytime you see her in the news, it's "Are you going to be in Picard?" Same thing with LeVar Burton,
Gates McFadden.
Yep.
Beverly D'Angelo is a very different person, Rob.
Why do I have Beverly? Oh, Beverly D'Angelo is from the European Vacation, the vacation movies.
Yeah. That's right.
Why do I have those two?
As long as Neelix shows up, I'm fine.
I'm not watching any of this crap anymore, man. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm with you. But let's say goodbye to Chris DeBona.
Goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
And to Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
And I'm Rob Commander Taco Maldo. We'll see you tomorrow. We are watching Short Circuit. Bye.